Today we talk with Cillian Barry of SportCaller all about free-to-play games and how to increase fan engagement.
This is crazy.
Everywhere you turn, it's the same old sports talk, the same headlines, the same news, and the same boring information. This podcast is here to change all of that. We bring you hot sports takes, winning sports betting strategy and picks, reliable gaming industry news, and breaking interviews with some of the biggest names in sports business. My name is Ryan Knuppel, and welcome to the Noop Sports Show. All right, welcome to the Noop Sports Podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me. I have Cillian Barry with me on the line. Cillian, are you there?
I am, Ryan. Nice to be here.
Awesome. I appreciate you joining me. Cillian is with the company SportCaller, and we are very honored to have you on the line today. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about more about your company and what SportCaller does?
Yeah, so SportCaller has been going for 8 years now. We have a platform that allows clients to run free-to-play prediction games. And so we have a list of clients ranging from Paddy Power, Betfair, FanDuel, TVG, William Hill, Kindred Group, a bit of the Stars Group, and a few others. And so we run free-to-play prediction games across multiple sports, from darts to cricket to football to closer to your neck of the woods to basketball, baseball, so we've been having a good last few years of it,
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the free-to-play space seems to really be booming right now. I've spent some time going to conferences over the last couple months, mainly targeting the United States sports betting landscape, and free-to-play seems to be the buzzword and the keyword that a lot of people are using in order to, gather leads and kind of go that direction. So I think you guys are in the right space, and you've obviously been doing a good job for quite some time. You mentioned a few of the clients you work with, but can you, expand on that a bit? I mean, you're working with Paddy Power, William Hill, FanDuel, I believe I've played your game through FanDuel. I think you guys provided the Survivor or something like that through FanDuel. But can you expand a little bit on maybe the games and the clients you're working with?
Yeah, I might go back a little bit to the beginning, actually. One of our first clients was a company called Skybet in the UK. And Skybet was and is this great success story. It was a very fast-growing and innovative sportsbook operator. And one of their key ingredients was a free-to-play game called Super 6. So Super 6 is a game that ran every Saturday, and it covered the 6 main football games, Premier League games on a Saturday, and you had to correctly predict the correct score in each game. And if you could do that, you might win £100,000, you might win £1 million some weeks when they boosted the prize.
Sure.
And it was a huge success. It ran on Sky Sports. So you had it promoted heavily across TV and online. And you might have had upwards in a good week of 1 million people a week playing that game.
Wow.
And lots of people going on to have a bet afterwards, to have a win bet afterwards. And so Skybet were kind of innovators in this space, and they invited us to create the horse racing equivalent of that. So we created a game called Pick 6, and we ran it on Channel 4 with them, who's the racing broadcaster here. And we learned a lot from them, and they learned a lot from us, and it kind of went from there. And then a couple of years later, Paddy Power asked us to run a football game for them for the Euros. And then Sportsbet in Australia, which is owned by Paddy Power, asked us to run stuff for Aussie Rules and Rugby League and all those sports that are popular in Australia. And often the game format's pretty simple. It's asking someone to make a few selections on a certain market, whether that's correct score or win, draw, win, or perhaps a margin game, or perhaps, the first 4 horses home in this race. And you're asking them to make their selections, and then you're showing them a bet prompt where it's legal. You're showing them a bet prompt and asking them, would they like to have a real bet on this race or on this football game or on this basketball game? And you're collecting email addresses and you're collecting phone numbers, and you're doing GDPR compliant and smart things off the back of that. And it's been, we've grown the number of games. We probably run, at this stage, 40, 50, 60 games, depending on what time of year and what's in season. And we've been working with those clients that I mentioned earlier for, over several years now at this stage. And we provide them with games across multiple sports in multiple languages and for multiple brands within their groups.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, so, what's interesting to me is you see these games on these different operator sites and things like that, and you wouldn't even know that it's, SportCaller driving them from the background. I mean, I think that's pretty cool how they're just integrated right into the end client. Give me a little insight. I mean, I guess if somebody was looking to use this, I mean, is it all operators that are using this, or do you guys work with affiliates or any other types of businesses that could use something like this?
Yeah. Sorry, there's 2 points there, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
The first one in the integrations, I think, is a key one to pick up on. So we seamlessly integrate with our clients. So as you say, from the user's point of view, they always feel like if it's a Paddy Power environment or a William Hill environment or a FanDuel environment, they always feel like they're staying within that environment. So it might be hosted within an iframe.
Mm-hmm.
You have a single sign on there. So if you're logged in on Paddy Power or FanDuel, you stay logged in so you can play the game, or if not, you need to register. We draw in their sportsbook API, so we're showing their live prices and the odds within the game. And if somebody sees a bet prompt at the end and they want to have a bet, they click through. It opens up a page on the bookmaker's website with the bet slip pre-populated, and they're already logged in. So you're ensuring a high conversion rate all the way through the funnel. So that's a good deal of our experiences on those integration points. And then on to, in regards to your second question, we've always kind of tried to keep it so that, the likes of FanDuel or Paddy Power will have something of an exclusive angle on it. So typically with our tier one clients, we'll have, different game formats. So we don't necessarily have one templated game type. They'll each have something that's pretty unique to themselves.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's very cool. So what's the future for SportCaller, I guess? That'd be my next question. What do you guys have in store? Are you guys looking to grow? Are you looking to get into different markets, add more games? I mean, what's the future look like for you guys?
Yeah. Well, we've always been self-funded. We've got a very good team in Dublin. We've got a couple of people in London. We've got a couple of people in the US, and we've got 30 developers in the Ukraine. So overall, there's probably a team of about 40 people supporting the business, maybe 45 people now at this stage. And we continue to grow organically. So the business is growing at maybe 60% year on year in terms of turnover and profit. So the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen some really, really strong growth. We'll take some of that profit and we'll invest it into new markets. The US obviously being a natural one, but also Australia. Australia is a great market, And so we'll continue to do that, and we'll continue to serve the tier one operators that we work with, and we'll continue to give them a strong, dedicated team and the same high standards that we've always delivered on to make sure that we keep those clients. So we kind of have a fairly sensible approach to it, we have some news coming out hopefully in the next few weeks on a new big partnership. I think that will scale us up to the next level again. And maybe we could talk more on that at another stage.
Mm-hmm.
But no, overall, we never take anything for granted. But the outlook's pretty good at the moment.
For sure, definitely. Let me switch gears on you for 1 second. You mentioned the United States, and a lot of our listeners here, I have a deep interest in sports betting, and especially in the United States. And so, give me your, I don't know, your little 2-minute prediction on the United States, or just your outlook on where you think we're at here with legalization of sports betting in the United States.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on this.
Sure.
Necessarily, but I'll give you my own what I've seen and what my feeling on it is.
Yeah.
We're just over 12 months since PASPA was repealed. And, that was marked with, lots of hyperbole and lots of excitement. And, there was a real kind of party carnival atmosphere to it, as it should be. Because, the outlook is and the potential is huge. But it may be that potential will be realized over the medium to long term. So let's say kind of 5-year plus. And during the next, between now and then, there's obviously going to be a lot of people partnering up, a lot of people, sharing skills, a lot of people coming into the market, a lot of the current incumbents, leveraging their strengths. But it's going to take time. Some of those partnerships will work, some of them won't work, and people will have to invest a lot of money in the market, and that will benefit, and that will be easier for the big groups and the big gangs than it will be for the smallers. And over time, it'll become clear who the potential winners are.
Mm-hmm.
And is it a case, what will each state support? There's a lot of operators in New Jersey at the moment, but there's only 2 or 3, and we all know who they are, who are really dominating. How that will play out as each state opens up will be interesting to see, but you have to say that FanDuel, DraftKings, and perhaps in time FoxBet will have a very good head start on everybody. That doesn't mean that there won't be new entrants into the market, and Bet365 can never be underestimated. So you'd have to always say that they've probably got a seat at the table, if that's a top 5 table or perhaps a bit wider. So it's gonna be fascinating to watch. It's gonna be, the price of the ticket to play and attend is high, and so you're going to need to be able to afford that. They're going to need to surround themselves by quality suppliers and people who have experience, because it's not always going to be simple or cheap to hire people. So suppliers are going to be important. I guess I'd be bound to say that, but I think it's true. And I think in 5 years' time, it's going to be very, very lucrative and return, a multiple for shareholders and everybody else. But it's going to take that time.
For sure. Just like anything, I mean, everything takes time in the end. So I appreciate that feedback there, and your outlook and your take on that for sure. Hey, one last question here. In the sports betting space, one of the biggest, I guess, buzzwords or booms right now is this, live in-play betting. Do any of your games, do they feature? I guess my question is, do you have any in-game betting games, or is that something that's not necessarily what you guys do?
Yeah, no, it is. We do. To be honest, we do most things. We've got quite a wide range of game templates, and in-play is one of them. In-play is kind of fascinating because in-play became, is obviously been, growing, and is a huge part of any UK and European sportsbook operation these days. And obviously, mobile allows for that. I think the US opportunity is fascinating, given that your games are longer and there's more breaks. The opportunity for in-play betting is obviously is quite considerable. So with the games that we've run, so we run a game for Paddy Power and Betfair, which we've recently adapted for TVG in the US, and soon to be for 1 or 2 of the group's other brands. And in the UK, it's called Beat the Drop. And so it's a game you can pay to play, or you can play for free. And you are actually given your prize at the beginning of the game. So with TVG, you're given $1,000. In the past with Paddy Power, you've been given as much as £1 million. And during the game, you've got to try and hold on to your money, or during the day's racing with TVG. So you've got a set of questions. Typically, there'll be 50-50 questions, kind of yes-no type formats. And you can decide to go all in on the question or to split your pot. And you've got to see how much of that money you can hold on to by the end of the game. And you might be asked 10, 12,
sure.
15, 20 questions.
Very
and
cool.
It's a really engaging second screen experience that keeps somebody, doesn't get in the way of the game. You're still enjoying it. You're still sitting on the couch. You're in the bar with your friends. So you're still enjoying the game and the action. But you have this, on your phone alongside it, where you're having a bit of banter with your friends. You're saying, well, what do you reckon here? Do you think they're going to score off this corner? Or do you think there's going to be a yellow card in the next 5 minutes? Or whatever, whatever the in-play markets that are running.
Sure.
And so we're adapting that now for the US. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. There's other ones as well that we'll have, which will sometimes be kind of timer related and so on. Some of it will rely. Golf also obviously lends itself very well to in-play. It's an interesting one to watch in time. But like with golf and other sports, there's latency issues with in-play. So you've got to make sure that you don't have a latency issue, that someone at the game or at the golf course isn't got some kind of an advantage by being there. So there's a few challenges, but usually a good data feed. So we'll take a good instant data feed. So either updating with goals the second they happen or whatever, and we'll have servers running that are quick enough to support that. But whether it's free to play or not for in play, I think among other innovative features that the US market's applying, and the big B2B platforms will be offering their clients, in play no doubt has got a big part to play there.
Sure. Well, it sounds like you guys have a lot going on and some really good product going on here. I know firsthand. I've played some of the ones that were over at FanDuel, the Survivor and Pick'em, I believe, were brought by you guys, and very impressive games. So that's awesome. Congrats to you guys. A couple things here. One, any last words for our audience before I let you go and we get off the line? Anything you'd like to say? Any, last words for us?
No, just to try and enjoy it. It's going to take a bit of time. It's going to be a longish journey in times. It won't be without its frustrations, but everybody that works here in SportCaller, and I think anybody who works in sports betting, they work there because they love sport. And it's nice to work in an area that you're a true proper fan and you're just excited about it. It doesn't mean that every day's great fun. Some days can make you want to knock your head off a wall, but overall, we're very lucky to work in this space, and we're very lucky to be able to play a part and to watch how the US evolves over the next few years. So I think for the most part, if we're going to be enjoying what we do and what we're coming in to do each day, and we're doing a good job and providing a good service, that's a privileged position.
Absolutely. And sports is all about fan engagement and, like you said, enjoying it and everything like that. And your games definitely bring that type of engagement for the fan, which, is perfect in this space, just adding to the overall experience of watching and participating in sports. So great job there.
And sorry, on that, Ryan, I just want to correct you there. On the FanDuel, we were brought into FanDuel probably like 3 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Just in advance of March Madness. So we ran all the March Madness bracket for them in the daily game. And then
gotcha. Okay. Yes.
Game launching this weekend, and we've got a esports game launching for them shortly. We've got a whole suite of games.
Okay.
The Survivor and a couple of others may have predated us.
Gotcha. Okay, but the March Madness was I definitely participated in March Madness as well. So that goes back to my point. It's hard to even tell who's powering them. So
but we're delighted to be in working with them and so on. But
great.
You don't want to claim something that's
yeah, for sure. I appreciate you clarifying that for me. So thank you. Okay, well, how do we get in touch with you? I mean, if somebody, one of our listeners, wants to reach out, potentially needs SportCaller or just wants to reach out to you, what would be the best way of finding you guys?
You'll find me on LinkedIn. You'll find us at sportcaller.com. We've got a reasonably decent business sites where you can see some of our clients and case studies, and I'm always happy to talk. I'm at Cillian, Cillian at sportcaller.com.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining me, Cillian, and until next time, hopefully we can meet again.
Yeah, really nice to talk to you, Ryan. Thanks.
All right, take care. Thanks for joining us on the show. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Noob Sports Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing to our iTunes channel today. Plus, visit us at noobsports.com for more picks, previews, strategy, and news. That's KNUPsports.com.